Weekends in the Know for Wednesday, January 8th, the 8th day of 2025. There are 357 days left in the year. Good morning, MV, guiding you through In the Know at K105 on Litchfield's Country Station 1039 The Moose, live online at K105.com via the Apple and Android smartphone app, using the SoundCloud, iTunes, or Spotify podcast, on Facebook, on YouTube, on the platform formerly known as Twitter, and the hashtag is In the Know. Coming up today, we'll update you on the latest news headlines from around the community, the county, the Commonwealth, and the country. We are eyeing more winter weather coming up. We'll tell you when, and maybe we'll try to zero in on how much. And we'll say hello to an old friend for the new year. That and a whole lot more coming up today here on In the Know. Settling into my left, rolling Mach 9 with her hair on fire, is my beautiful wife, the beautiful girl. It's Beej. Good morning, sweetheart.
Good morning.
How you doing?
I'm okay.
When we met, you had a red suitcase.
Yes.
Was that your primary suitcase that you used, as you recall? Probably.
I mean, so was my laptop.
Yeah,
so.
That's right. We have, but to match your shirt, we have either black or gray dark charcoal luggage that we use.
Yes.
And here's a travel secret that many people don't know. Use ugly bags to pack your stuff in. High-end luggage might impress fellow travelers, but it also impresses thieves. The cheaper and uglier your luggage looks, the greater the odds that a thief will target someone else.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess if you've got all that fancy matching set, five-piece, they're like, well, if they've got that for luggage, there's no telling what they've got for other things in there. So we're just going with your basic black, and we go with a blue tag so we can see it when it comes around the baggage claim. So simple as that. He is the 5-time winner of the coveted Ohio Newshawk Award. Oh, wait, yeah. I don't know if he's ready or not. So let's go to Whitney. I think I might have thrown Sam for a loop. So we're going to say over there, we say she's connecting remotely today. I think we're going to say good morning to Grayson County Extension Ag Agent, Miss Whitney Carmen. Morning. You disappeared on me, Whitney. Oh, you're muted, I see. There you go. I hear you. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you all?
I'm doing well. You're kind of distant in the background, so hopefully that audience is able to hear you. Did you have a good holiday season?
We did. We had a great holiday, and much like this system, it's having a hard time coming back from break.
Yeah, I can see that. I guess your kids got some bonus days from having to go back to school, extended winter break.
They did, and I'm pretty sure Kyle's ready for them to go back to school.
Yeah, I'd say there's a lot of stir crazy going on. The break was long and got even longer, but I don't think it looks very promising for the rest of the week. So Kyle may need to just go out and play in the snow.
They have, but it's going to be really cold, so we'll see
How
what
did
we
you-
get into.
How did you all celebrate New Year's Eve?
We actually stayed in and watched some of the shows. We played a lot of cards. We've taught the kids how to play Rook and Rummy.
Oh, nice.
And we whipped some tail. Kyle and I did.
I hope so.
But we enjoyed it. We were all in bed by, I guess maybe it would have been 12 o'clock Central Time.
Yeah. Well, I saw a photograph. I thought I saw a photograph of you and the kids, you all and the kids gathered around the kitchen or the dining room table and having some fun on New Year's Eve. So I thought that looked like a good family activity.
Oh yeah, we enjoy it. We are a game family, and we're a little competitive.
I'd say you all are a competitive bunch. You come by it. Your children come by it naturally. Hey, I don't know if you've looked outside today. I know, well, Whitney, you've been outside, of course, but if the rest of us have looked out or been out, you're seeing some flurries flying around today. Some areas that are concrete or paved are now have a little coating of snow on them, where they didn't at least last evening. So we're going to see some of the flurries and light snow showers continuing over the next 12 hours. We're going to see temperatures near zero for tomorrow morning. Temperatures not getting quite as cold as we thought it was going to get a couple of days ago, but cold is cold. That's not much consolation. Flurries today, we'll see a high of 25. Decreasing clouds tonight. an overnight low of 6, and mostly sunny, a high of 25. Then we are getting ready for the next round coming up on Friday. No rest for the snowed in. Grayson County is once again among a group of counties under a winter storm watch that's beginning early Friday morning. The National Weather Service said moderate to heavy snow is possible. Snow accumulation within the watch area of 4 to 5 inches, with locally higher amounts as possible and anticipated. That watch is going into effect at 3 a.m. on Friday. I've seen some varying. I've seen 1 to 3 for Grayson County. The Weather Service says that it could be locally higher, could be maybe 4. I've seen 3.5 predicted for our area. You just never quite know what it's going to be. However, Whitney, in this case, I think you all have more snow where you live in Breckinridge County. And if you go further south from here, there's less snow and less impact. This one is going to be the opposite. Breckinridge County is going to get less than Warren County, but Grayson County will get more than Breck. Do you have more snow at home than there is in Litchfield?
Yes, we actually had quite a bit more snow, and we had quite a bit more ice. But I'll be the first to say that our road crews in Grayson County and in Breckinridge County did a great job with this storm that came through, because I had no trouble. Now this morning it was a little iffy in a couple of places, but that was just because the snow came so quickly this morning.
I think one of the biggest problems too is that they're dealing with a trio of issues. They had snow, they had wintry mix, and then they had rain, and then they had snow, and they had the way you deal with all three of those is 3 different ways. And so they had to be prepared for all of those. But this is going to be a snow event, and that's the good news. This will be a snow event, which will happen throughout the day, because it's going to never be warm enough to be any type of mixture of precipitation. And we're going to have cold temperatures to accompany that. And as a reminder, we've been telling you about the Grayson County Emergency Management Warming Center. It started out at the middle school. It moved to the National Guard Armory. It's going to remain open until 4 o'clock today, but after that point, the warming center will operate on a need request basis or a conditions request basis. So if there's a need for it, I'm sure they will revise that decision or do something differently. You're also getting I was talking with our friend Chris Winkle yesterday up in the northeastern part of Kentucky. They've got 10 to 14 inches of snow. So the further you get to Lexington, Louisville has considerably more snow than we have, even in Breckinridge County. And so the weather impact was a lot longer and stronger. Then if you go down into Christian County, you get down into extreme West Kentucky, that's where that mixture spent a lot of time there. So you can travel to every corner of the Commonwealth, and you can find a different scenario for the residents in probably all 120 Kentucky counties. But as Governor Beshear pointed out yesterday, cold is cold, and everybody is going to be cold. We'll be all dealing with the same temperatures. He did also mention, as of yesterday afternoon, about 31,575 families were still without electricity. In the Commonwealth, he said that's because of varying weights the longer lines have to sustain that weight, the more they're likely they are to succumb to that weight. He said there also around the Commonwealth, there are 208 warming centers as of yesterday afternoon, and that number will fluctuate somewhat as well. Ms. Buckles, how much do you remember of what do you know about Jimmy Carter?
I think he was president when I was born.
Yes, he was. He was president when you were born. In fact,
I don't know a whole lot.
his term was ending when you were less than, you were basically a little over a year old, being born in 1979. And the election was held in 1980. Then Inauguration Day was in January of 1981 when President Reagan was sworn into office. Whitney, what do you know about Jimmy Carter?
I actually don't know a whole lot other than what we were taught in school.
Right.
He was, I guess, before my time, if you will. And I know that he was kind of a humanitarian, and he was from Georgia, and him and Rosalind were kind of like a couple. They were kind of an it couple, like the Obamas there for a while. So I do,
Yep.
Like I said, I respect him. I respected the history that he had, but like I said, I don't, as far as in the news, I don't really know a whole lot about him.
It's just interesting. You have three different Americans that are kind of not exactly evenly spaced, but from three different decades, certainly, and even maybe even closer to 4 decades from top to bottom. But you have a completely different perspective of the Carter presidency, depending upon whether you lived through it or not. And I was young enough during his presidency that I didn't really understand global politics or the presidency or even domestic politics. But I lived through it and understood what I heard on the news, what I might have heard my family talking about, et cetera. So for someone like Whitney, you focus on his Habitat for Humanity and traveling the globe and teaching Sunday school class in planes. But we also can all remember him that he never wanted to be called James Earl Carter. He wanted to be called Jimmy. He insisted on carrying his own suitcase when getting on and off of what was before then. It was not Air Force One until 1990. They called it, the presidential plane or whatever before that. He had his sleeves rolled up a lot. He did not want Hail to the Chief played in the same way that like Richard Nixon really wanted you hear Marine bands and other bands now hear that trumpet fanfare, that dun da da dun da 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 dun da da dun da da da. That's something that Nixon really wanted, and Carter didn't want that because he just wanted to be able to come into a room and just be Jimmy. And he wanted to be down to earth, and he wanted to be among the people. When he was campaigning and won all the primaries, he would sleep overnight with people that were in those districts, just regular people, because he wanted to have breakfast with them and get to know them and understand what was important to them. Now, there were some things that took place during his presidency that kind of cast a pall on it, but you've heard me say many times that while he might have considered, because he was a one-termer and there were some tough conditions, people would look at his presidency as a failure, but his life was nothing but a success not only from a longevity standpoint, but being just prolific in the way that he impacted his fellow man, impacted fellow Christians. And so we got to see him go from Georgia to Washington yesterday. He is the only American president, I believe, I heard that he is the only American president that is a graduate of the U.S. Naval Academy. So he graduated from Annapolis. So the hearse brought him down Pennsylvania Avenue yesterday to the Navy Memorial, where they transferred from the hearse to the caisson, and the Navy took him the rest of the way to the Capitol building, marched him up into the steps, into the Capitol Rotunda. They knocked 3 times on the door. The room went quiet. They brought him in and placed his casket on the same catafalque used for President Lincoln when he was assassinated. And so there he will lie in state until sometime tomorrow, and then the national funeral at the National Cathedral will be tomorrow. So I don't, you can feel however you want to politically about President Carter, but one of the things that I love about America is the continuity of the tradition and the way we honor those who have led us and risen to the highest office in the land. When I was a kid, I was always told, well, you could grow up and be president. If you're in England, if you're born, you're not going to be a monarch unless you were born to be a monarch. But anyone in our country has an opportunity to rise to the highest office in the land if you want to. And that's one of the great things about America. So anyway, he's got a great story. As Whitney mentioned, he and Rosalind married longer than any president and first lady. He's the longest living American president. And so the nation will say goodbye officially for tomorrow. He helped plan his funeral. Some presidents, they will be flown to Washington for the national funeral, and then they will train trip so American can say goodbye back to their burial place, which will be in Plains. He didn't want that spectacle. So after the funeral tomorrow at the National Cathedral, he's going back to Plains, where he'll be buried next to Rosalind, and that will be that. So anyway, it's something to watch. I enjoyed watching it yesterday on TV. A reminder, I don't know that they always do this. I would have thought I would have caught on to this by now, but as a National Day of Observance, the United States Postal Service will be closed tomorrow, so they'll be observing the passing of President Carter. So while mail has probably been a little iffy this week already because of the weather, it will not run tomorrow. We also heard President-elect Trump yesterday. He spoke on a few things. One, we might be getting Greenland as a 51st state. We're going to try and buy Greenland, according to him, because we need it for national security purposes. He says we're going to rename the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. and he wants the Panama Canal back, which actually got transferred. We built it, then we transferred it back to the Panamanians, I think, in during the Carter administration, and now China has kind of taken over it, and so we say, well, we want to claim that back. So first, do we need a 51st state?
I don't know.
Are we okay with
I think
Greenland?
we're
Are we
good.
okay with?
I mean,
You think we're good staying at 50?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, all right. Well, so I know a lot of people will say that because it's a nice round number, and I would have always thought that. But when there were 13 and somebody said, let's go to 20, and people were like, that's kind of a crazy idea. And then we went to, we got to 48. We sat there for a while, and then we said, well, let's get Alaska, and hey, let's get Hawaii. Now, Puerto Rico has been interested. We've talked about D.C. becoming a 51st state, a big campaign called D.C. 51. He's floated the idea of Canada. I don't think that's ever going to happen, but it's a nice little negotiating tactic or tool. But so Whitney wants to stay at 50.
I want to know
Well,
more.
I do,
Like,
but I'll be honest. Does Greenland really want to join?
Well, for the right amount of green, they do.
I mean, so he said
Well,
for
I guess
national
maybe you're
security
right. I was gonna
purposes.
say, what else?
Yeah.
What else do we have to provide them other than money and support? So I guess so. But I thought Greenland was just kind of its own little thing, and they were enjoying life on their own.
I know, right?
Belongs to Denmark, and everything's for sale. But the amount of Chinese vessels and Russian vessels that are out there in the Atlantic, especially in the North Atlantic, we want to plant a flag in Greenland to say this is in the same reason we wanted Hawaii. Now, Greenland's not nearly as far away, of course, but in the same reason we wanted Hawaii for defensive purposes, then we kind of want Greenland for that. I am for merging two states and keeping it at 50, but just bringing Greenland in. We can put the Dakotas back together for all I care. We can put the Carolinas together. We can put the Virginias together. So if we're stuck on 50, that's fine, but we may want the area. You said you needed to know more. What would help
I
you?
mean,
What would help
I
you
guess you
decide?
answered it as far as just the location. I can see that. So Homeland Security, I kind of get it, but
It's also
I'm fine with adding it.
you're fine with adding it.
Yeah.
It's also a big day for Facebook. The company that said they weren't censoring free speech, they said they'll no longer censor free speech. So I thought that was odd. They're going to a community notes type section like Twitter/X is doing instead of the fact checkers. Now the fact checkers don't like it because they were a third party company that was providing that service to Meta. And so they said, well, we don't need you all anymore. And they say, well, this is a really bad idea. Well, what else are you going to say? I understand that. The legislature in Kentucky gavelled into session yesterday. They're going to work the rest of the week, and then they will wait until the end of February. It's just a 30-day session, and so they've got to be wise about spending their days. It's a non-budget session. They're going to do some things like try to take the income tax rate down another step, another tier, after hitting those benchmarks. Also, the Kentucky Department of Education is seeking partners for their summer food program. The KDE, in partnership with the USDA, is looking for sponsoring organizations and partners like a public or nonprofit private school food authority, including school districts, a public or nonprofit private residential summer camp, a unit of a local municipal, county, or state government, or a public or non-private college or university. This being a USDA-oriented thing, Whitney, does this enter your lane in some way?
It does a little bit in the situation where I work with the farmers.
Gotcha.
And so those guys that are getting some of that, I wouldn't call it help, but that are a part of those programs, they might be involved in some of that.
Of the three of us, I think you're the only one who watched the basketball game last night. I have a feeling I know what you're going to say because I read some of your commentary, but summarize it for us.
Well, if you want to enjoy a show, an acting show,
Yeah.
that would have been a very good one to watch.
Okay.
However, if you are a fan, it had a sad ending for you. That's what
yeah,
I'll say.
without a doubt. Yeah. The final was 82-69 on the road at Athens. The Cats fell. They just got bullied and beaten up. And that's the teams have figured out that if they'll get physical with Kentucky, then they've got a lot greater chance of being successful. And so it was just one of those nights. The SEC is going to be a rough and tumble conference. So that's not the last loss that they will have, but they'll be back on the road in the Hump on Saturday. They play at Mississippi State down in Starkville. Got to get to a break. We'll come back. Got more on the way. The most common and least common birthdays in the United States coming up here on In the Know.
Your health care starts with Owensboro Health Primary Care in Big Clifty. Family medicine physician Dr. Kiersey Kuiper was trained by the University of Louisville in Owensboro and cares for patients 16 years and older. She's here to help when you want to stay healthy, when you're not feeling well, and when you need help managing a chronic condition. Learn more and schedule your appointment online at owensborohealth.org/BigClifty.
If you strive for a healthy mind, body, and soul but feel overwhelmed, maybe it's time to talk with someone. Reach out to Fuller Life Counseling Partners. Whether you're seeking individual or couples counseling, family therapy, or substance abuse counseling, Fuller Life Counseling is there to help. Young or old, there are many benefits. Less anxiety and stress, better relationships, increased emotional balance, and more. Heal from within with Fuller Life Counseling in Bowling Green, Glasgow, Litchfield, and Scottsville. Or visit fullerlifecounseling.org.
What makes Caneyville Crushed Stone the best choice? It's not just our competitive prices. It's not just the 30-plus years of industry expertise. It's not even the dedication to every customer, rock, or delivery. It's the commitment to your project. Stone by stone, this is all we do. But we do it all. From your driveway, barn, farm, and home. We have you covered. Call our friendly staff Monday through Friday, 270-879-0222. Deliveries available Monday through Saturday. Or visit us on Highway 79 north of Caneyville.
I'm thrilled to announce an exciting opportunity at Performance Feeds in Caneyville. We're one of the nation's fastest growing businesses, and we're on the hunt for a dynamic manager to join our team. If you're motivated to work 50 to 55 hours a week and have great communication skills, we want you. With competitive pay and bonus opportunities, this role offers excellent earnings potential. Email your resume to khatcher@performance-feeds.com or apply in person at 508 East Maple Street.
When buying or selling a home, you want experience, trust, and personal touch. But they say you can only pick two. Well, with Gina Lastly at Tom Baxter Real Estate, you get all three. With a decade of expertise as a broker, Gina's attention to detail and passion for real estate make her a trusted friend and professional. She goes above and beyond to ensure your real estate journey is smooth and successful.
I'm Gina Leslie. Put my passion for real estate to work for you. Call me now at 217-721-0034.
Discover the difference at TomBaxterRealEstate.com.
Attention propane customers, has your existing provider been hard to reach? Have you had questions that haven't been answered or experienced long wait times or been asked to reply and send emails for customer support? Don't waste any more of your time. Southern States Co-op in Bowling Green will take your call. They will even swap out your existing tank to theirs at no charge. Southern States Bowling Green Co-op is ready to serve all your propane needs in Bowling Green and surrounding counties, because empty is never an option.
A tech entrepreneur from Los Angeles says he recently missed his flight home after getting trapped in a Waymo on the way to the airport. Mike Johns says the issue happened in Scottsdale, Arizona in mid-December when the self-driving car he was riding in wouldn't stop making circles in a parking lot.
And it was just going in the circles like around the fifth or sixth time. That feeling was very uncomfortable, where you're strapped in, you can't open the door, and this vehicle is just going in circles.
On Sunday, a Waymo spokesperson told the Los Angeles Times that Johns was delayed by about 5 minutes, then driven to his destination. The spokesperson blames it on a software glitch that's since been resolved, adding that Johns was not charged for his ride in the Waymo vehicle. United Airlines will launch its first commercial flight with Starlink Wi-Fi this spring. It's accelerating its timeline for the new internet service, which is a subsidiary of the Elon Musk-owned SpaceX. And OpenAI CEO Sam Altman says his company is losing money on the ChatGPT Pro subscription plan. Check report, I'm Mark Mayfield. Today's Did You Know is brought to you by Litchfield Funeral Home, providing Grayson County with compassionate, professional funeral, cremation, and pre-need services. Litchfield Funeral Home, celebrating life, one family at a time. Call 259-4566 or visit litchfieldfh.com. Today is Show and Tell at Work Day.
Okay.
Wendy, you have a bunch of coworkers around today to show and tell with, or are you kind of flying solo, or?
Well, I mean, everybody's here, but we don't really do a whole lot of show until we tell everybody kind of what we got for Christmas.
Okay, well, that's good. You can show off your new shiny thing. You know, there's really not much show and tell anymore because of social media.
Yeah.
People already know it by the time they see you. It's like, yeah, I already saw that. I saw what you got for Christmas. Today is Argyle Day, and it is Winter Skin Relief Day. This might be when your
I had dry
skin
skin
starts
this year.
getting a little bit itchy. That came up in the presidential news conference yesterday. Somehow President-elect Trump started talking about how they didn't want you to have gas furnaces anymore. And he was talking about how dry electric heat is and how itchy. And he was using that as justification to say we need gas furnaces so we don't have dry, itchy skin.
Interesting.
Which is just not something you think presidents talk much about, but he's your atypical president, of course. The 10 most popular birthdays have been updated, and they are calculating from 1995 to 1993. And the 10 most popular birthdays are all between September 20 and September 30, but September 27 topping the list.
Okay.
Now, you ladies will quickly drift to and say, well, September is the 9th month. And it is.
Well, I have a September baby.
Yeah, so you clearly have
I can tell
you've done
you,
the math.
you know, I mean,
Yeah,
I can do the math.
You've done the math. And so that is why between the 20th and the 30th, with September 27th being the most likely. The other reason for that is they feel like some people make a calculated effort that they want their children to be some of the oldest in their class at school.
I can
And so that
see
I
that.
like that. Yeah, I like that.
I didn't do that on purpose, but it does help.
I can see that, you know, and I've said times
Maturity
before, you know,
level.
I'm on the tail end, you know, I'm just 2 months away from being in the next class. So that, but I never felt like, the only time it bothered me was when we started driving. Right?
Yes, that
Everybody
was
in
one
my
of the
class
last,
could drive before I could. I was like, well, this kind of stinks. But I wouldn't trade my summer birthday at all. On the flip side, go ahead, Whitney.
No, I was going to say, I was a November birthday, so I was kind of in middle of the road anyway. I didn't really care too much.
On the flip side, December 26th is the least common birthday. It's odd, the 26th, which is a little different. You know, like in England, that's Boxing Day, so it's still a holiday. And certain places around the globe, you know, they celebrate the way we do Christmas. Some of them don't do it till January the 6th. So, but I contend that the way that we manage births in the 21st century, you're just not going to have Christmas babies and New Year's babies, and you're not going to have Thanksgiving babies, although Thanksgiving moves around, so it could land on theirs. But most obstetricians now are saying, let's get you in here the week before, or let's schedule you for the week after if you go. Now, you know, nature will take its course. It's not going to be eliminated, but you're just going to see the percentage figures just plummet because, well, you know, hey, like we've got a good friend, Darren. His birthday is September 11th. And his birthday was September 11th before it became a national date that we all know. So it makes me wonder how many parents going forward when they manage deliveries will say, no, not September 11th.
I mean,
you know, why do you, on a national day of what is mourning, you know, and never forgetting, do you want your kids to have to celebrate their birthday on that day? I think people will go, no, let's just make it the 12th or let's make it the 10th. So,
Well, I've got a
Simple as
December
that.
birthday as well for, you know, my baby, and he was a December 12th due date. And my doctor was like, he's a little big. Let's just go ahead and get him in a week early. So that gave me 3 weeks before Christmas.
Sure.
So I can absolutely
But
see that.
it helped then, and it will help every year after that. It just makes it a little more manageable. It's good for him too. January, New Year, of course, which means the return of Girl Scout cookies.
Yay.
The season starts this week, and I do want you to be aware. I guess there's two sets of bad news. Do you want the bad news or the bad news?
Hit me with the worst.
The bad news is there are no new cookies this season.
Oh, okay.
What potentially is bad news for you is two what they call popular flavors, the s'mores and the toast yay, are gone after this year.
No problem.
I don't know that I've had either of those cookies.
I don't think I have.
I haven't, unless maybe they drop some off as a sample so you'll talk about them. But I don't remember them. But toast yay is a French toast flavored treat dipped in icing. So of course, you can look forward to the classics, the Thin Mints, the Samoas, the Tagalongs, or other long time trefoils or good
Trefoils
cookies,
dipped in milk.
Thin Mints.
Oh,
Yeah,
very good.
That's good. So look for the Girl Scout cookies being sold, at the places that you go. But the season kicked off yesterday, so you start seeing them at places where you shop. But if you like s'mores and you like toast yay, just know might want to stock up because this will be the final season of production. Now they say they're popular. I don't want to throw shade at the cookie flavor makers because that's not what I'm doing. But I do know a little bit about entrepreneurship and revenue generation. If these things were selling like French toast, if these things were selling like hotcakes, would they cease production of them?
No.
I think they
know
know.
that they would.
No.
I mean, it's kind of like them going, we're tired of Samoas. Samoas have had a good run. We're just not going to make them anymore. Like there would be a revolt.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I was
That's
going to say
like-
that will never, ever happen.
And I don't even care for them, but I mean, I know how loved they are.
Yeah,
For
they're-
me, that would be the tag along,
Yeah.
Yeah.
CES is going on in Las Vegas, Consumer Electronics Show. There's some new things that have been unveiled. These are things that are already available. Some of the things they roll out at CES, you're not going to see for years. But there are some things being introduced at CES where you can actually buy them right now. And one of them, Miss Buckles, I think I don't know that you'll get it, but I think, because I don't think that you need it, but I think you will appreciate its innovative nature. And Whitney, this might also have long-term impact, or may already be having impact on some of the people you serve. It's called the Leafy Pod Smart Planter. It's a new planter that lets you know whenever it needs light, or for the first, it will clear the plant to be moved to temperature or humidity changes.
I may need at least one.
You need just to try it out?
Well, yeah, and I have one plant that is finicky, and
Okay.
I think if I could,
Sure.
there's something I'm doing wrong, clearly.
It's $148.
Oh, well, then there's that.
Would be worth having one. Yeah, they'll get cheaper. Is there anything like this on a large scale in the agriculture community?
Not to my knowledge. I mean, the high tunnel guys that have they're not exactly a greenhouse, but it's sort of like a greenhouse. Those are really
Right.
popular right now, and they've got a lot of gadgets and computer apps and things that they can use that kind of help determine it pretty quickly, but it's not in the actual plant itself or in the actual pot itself.
It also, in some cases, may be adding insult to injury, because if you have farmers that know they're going through a drought, they probably don't need an app saying, hey, you're going through a drought. It's like, yeah, no kidding. I know we're going through a drought. They might say your crops need water. No kidding. I wish we could get them water, but that's just not going to, not going to happen. The baby names that plummeted in popularity in 2024 include, I'll get to that one in a moment because that's more of a Gen X name. Some of the names that dropped, Amelie, Amelie, went down 12 places from last year. It's now down to 94. The name Lucy fell 11 spots to 95. The names Nova and Lily have completely fallen out of the top 100. For boys, the name Jackson fell 14 spots to 64. Now, is your Jackson CK? He's not an X Jackson. He's a CK Jackson,
No,
right?
he is all of my kids have traditional spelling. That was my one thing.
Right.
And
So this one that fell out is Jackson, Jaxon.
well, and see, my Jackson is actually a Jack. He's not really ever called Jackson anymore. And when we named
Right.
him, we did not know any Jacksons. And then we moved home, and he's got 4 in his class.
Well, it's
All still
funny.
different.
Alea, she has 2. I don't know that they're still in her class, but she will specify to me it's the one with the X. I'm like, it's usually the one with the X.
Yours is just Jack.
Yeah, just Jack.
That's how you.
Yeah, pretty much.
Jason also fell completely out of popularity. When was the last time you heard of a kid named Jason that wasn't my age? There just aren't. I mean, the Gen Xers are Jasons. I don't know that they were still even using that name. So.
I know a Jason that is a couple of years younger than me.
Really?
Okay.
That's good. I mean, I think you've got some families that are traditionalists that maybe named their child for their fathers or, something like that. So I think it's still around for it to say it's completely fallen out of favor. It's like, well, sure. I mean, you're not hearing much about much about the gospel writers anymore. Like we're not using the gospel writers' names very much, but we're using a lot of Noahs and we're using Isaiahs and we're using
Silas.
We've gone Jonahs. We've gone kind of OT. We've gone OT instead of NT on that from a biblical standpoint. But all those names are nice. We got to get to a break. We'll come back. First of the year brought the release of the rights on copyrights. Some copyrights have expired, as they do each and every year at January 1st. We're going to talk about some of the things that are now public domain. That's coming up here on In the Know.
The Grayson County Health Department reminds you of the importance to get vaccinated. It's important not only to protect yourself, but your friends, family, and coworkers. The Grayson County Health Department is committed to keeping our community safe. Walk-in clinics offer both the COVID-19 and flu vaccines, Monday through Thursday, 9 to 11 and 1 to 3. Visit 124 East White Oak Street or myhealthddepartment.org. Grayson County Health Department. Together, we are better.
If you're the average person, you only think about income taxes from January to April. But the choices you make 12 months a year have a big impact on your tax return preparation and even your refund. Making adjustments to your financial matters during tax filing season is like trying to lose weight during a routine doctor visit. The certified public accounting firm of Buckles, Travis & Hart work year-round to advise clients on important financial decisions so that during tax filing season, you're carrying a lot less stress and worry. Join the Peace of Mind team with Buckles, Travis & Hart, 270-259-5604 or GraysonCPAs.com.
Yellowwood knows that a 5-star backyard is the place to make lasting memories. Like cookouts. Cornhole with friends. Ooh, a neighborhood potluck with your wife's pasta salad. The one with the feta. Oh, sorry. Or taking a nap on your deck in a hammock. Naps are memories. I love naps. For 5-star backyards and the most memorable experiences, Yellowwood brand pressure-treated pine. If it doesn't have that yellow tag, you don't want it.
Thinking about furthering your education? At Elizabethtown Community and Technical College, you'll get a high-quality education close to home at a cost that won't break the bank. Enjoy small class sizes with professors who take a personal interest in your success. Scholarships are still available, making our low tuition even more affordable. ECTC's Litchfield campus is now enrolling for classes that start January 13th. Visit elizabethtown.kctcs.edu to get started. ECTC, College for the Real World.
K105 weather from the Wave Storm Tracking Team is brought to you by Smith Overhead Door, SOHD.info.
Twin Lakes weather. We'll keep some clouds around throughout the day with some flurries flying here and there this afternoon. Highs today only in the low to mid-20s. Now as we get into tonight, falling down into the single digits and for some of us below zero, especially in spots where those clouds clear. From the Wave News Storm Tracking Team, I'm meteorologist Tawana Andrew.
Don't you worry about a thing. Don't you worry about a thing.
Today's Did You Know is brought to you by ECTC's Litchfield campus. College for the real world. It's affordable and right here at home. The new 8-week advantage starts next week on January the 13th. So you still got a few days if you will hustle, but going to be hard to do. But make sure you look into all the great opportunities, great certifications that are available. It's really accessible. It's convenient. It's affordable. It's right here at home. It's ECTC's Litchfield campus, where they ask, did you know Mexico's official name is United Mexican States?
No, I did not know that.
We're the USA, they're the UMS, but we just call them Mexico.
Okay.
Yeah.
With that
I
inclined
knew
that we're renaming the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. By the way, I don't know if that's a serious thing. I don't know if he can just do that. I don't know how that works. But it does bring up a good, I guess this could be an impromptu point to ponder. Should New Mexico be worried? Like if we're removing the name Mexico off of things that we deal with, are we? I don't know. The first day of every year is when copyrights expire. Around it's like 70 years. It's like the life of plus 70 years. There's a mathematical calculation to figure out when things become part of public domain. And one of them that became public domain this year was Popeye. So Popeye is no longer protected content. And so right on cue, Popeye's Revenge horror trailer turns the spinach eater into a slasher maniac.
Oh, goodness.
And I have to say, why? Why? We did this with Winnie the Pooh a couple of years ago, and I thought, Popeye is at least a sailor. Popeye is at least kind of a rough fella. He probably can hold his own on some things. He is a good, he takes on Bluto very well. But why bother Winnie the Pooh?
I know. Well, and so I did not realize that. But since she has been on a Winnie the Pooh kick, when you search, your whatever we have, it comes up, and I'm looking at it thinking, what? I did not realize that had happened. It's terrible looking.
Yeah. Whitney, should we just leave these, cartoons and leave this content alone?
Yeah, I don't understand why people are all about redoing it and making crazy things out of it. Just leave it alone.
It's because they think there's a dollar to be made.
Yeah.
Home Improvement, so Tim Allen is coming back to television. He has a new sitcom with Kat Denning. Most of the sitcoms that he's been on, while they have different window dressing, they're all just basically the same. They have a different setting, and they might have some different characters, but he's the constant. His comedy comes shining through, and he kind of plays the same character in everything that he does. Well, Home Improvement, his original series, is coming to Netflix for the first time. And so back during Christmas, we have this thing where when we make out gift tags to one another, we try and use celebrities or characters from movies or things. So it's to and it's from. So for Christmas, I had a to Tim from Jill. And so it was something, kind of Tool Man kind of related. So, and now Home Improvement is coming, all the seasons, all 204 episodes from the 8-season run of Home Improvement will come to Netflix starting, I don't know what the date.
I always loved that show.
It is a good show.
It was one of my favorites.
Oh, yeah, I loved that show. It was on right after school, my early high school years, I guess. So I always loved that show.
It had
Watch that and Saved by the Bell.
Oh, me too.
Had the nuclear family there, had the 3 boys, had mom, had dad, had a neighbor, Wilson was enigmatic. And
so I actually went and the Glasgow Parade, and I can't think of the actor's name or what even the character's name, but it's the middle boy.
Zachary Ty Bryan, wasn't it?
Zachary Tyler Thomas.
Zachary Tyler Thomas.
Okay.
Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
I actually saw him. I went to the Glasgow Parade, and he was there. So pretty cool.
Probably like the second biggest celebrity to ever go through Glasgow. SNL 50, Beyond Saturday Night. The trailer is out for Peacock's new docuseries which will start streaming on January the 16th. If you're interested in that, kind of a recap of the last 50 years of what has become an American institution. You know, the Today Show is having a shakeup. Hoda Kotb is leaving that last hour. They're going to start rotating some special guest co-hosts in. I don't know if any of them are auditioning for the job full time, but Scarlett Johansson, Keke Palmer, Taraji P. Henson, Ava Longoria are all going to be taking turns sitting in with Jenna for that the fourth hour of the Today Show. And I guess they'll figure out what they're going to do long term with that role. But I don't. I'm busy at that hour doing other, and I hope you are too. not watching it, but that's just the way that it goes. Got to get to a break. We'll come back. I'm only pondering today. Well, I pondered a little bit already about is New Mexico in trouble. But we'll have Chart Toppers Point Upon a Pearl of Wisdom. More coming up here on In the Know.
Would you rather have more time with your family or more money? A management consulting company asked that question of 1,000 working men and women ages 22 to 35. 54% said they would give up personal time in order to make more money. Now, I'm sure part of the reason for that high percentage is the rising cost of living. It's becoming harder and harder for families to build financial stability, even with two incomes. But for some couples, the pursuit of more money isn't about survival. It's about lifestyle. They're after more expensive cars, more expensive homes, exotic vacations, and the latest technology. I commend ambition and hard work, but if you have a family, it's reasonable to ask yourself, how much is enough? A never-ending chase for more comes with some expensive hidden costs, like relationships. Every yes to a career opportunity becomes a no to time with your family. And time with your family is the one resource you can never get back once it's gone. Take it from somebody with two grown boys of his own. Your parenting days will be over in the blink of an eye. Although money can create wonderful opportunities for your family, don't overlook the most important opportunity of all, forging a strong relationship with your children. In the end, you may achieve less and own fewer things, but you'll savor life far more. To help your family thrive, visit FocusOnTheFamily.com. I'm Jim Daly.
Hey parents, Parent here. Not to sound old, but if I had $1 for every time someone told me how to parent, well, let's just say I wouldn't need to read this ad to you today. I'd be sitting on the beach somewhere with my feet up. Truth is, I don't trust everyone to tell me stuff. And I don't have time for that 500-page book either. But I do have time for Focus on the Family's weekly age and stage emails that have tips for intentionally raising my son at his age right now. It's super easy. Go to mykidsage.com, put in your kid's age, and get parenting advice you can trust.
I'm going to let you in on a little wireless hack that can cut your cell phone bill in half. Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile have convinced you need unlimited data. Fact is, most people don't. Pure Talk only charges $25 a month for unlimited talk, text, and 5 gigs of data plus hotspot. Stop overpaying for wireless. Dial pound 250 and say spend less, and you'll save an additional 50% off your first month with Pure Talk.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready. And health insurance is your financial safety net. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, give us a call at 800-961-1527. That's 800-961-1527. 800-961-1527.
Safe drivers see clearly. That's why starting January 1st, 2025, a new Kentucky law requires vision screening for anyone renewing a driver's license.
Clearly, the focus is on safer roadways.
Simply bring a completed vision screening form from your vision specialist to any driver licensing regional office, or get free vision screening at the time of renewal.
To view the details, visit drive.ky.gov.
I see what you did there.
A message from Team Kentucky and the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet.
When your baby leaves you all alone.
MB's point to ponder for today.
Cause you're on the phone.
Which of these unlikely yoga positions do you want to try most? All right, these are some unlikely yoga positions. Which one of these do you want to try most? There's the snap, crackle, and pop.
Probably what would happen to me anyway.
I would need that.
Say a lot.
Attempted one.
A lot of us are going to experience that. There's the folded fitted sheet.
Where do you begin?
And try to contort your body into like a folded fitted sheet. There's the I've fallen and I can't get up. That's or you could also call that the med alert pose. Yeah. If you grew up when I grew up, Whitney, these might have been gone by the time that. But on speaking of afternoon television, they're always running these PI ads for this lady who her walker's laying beside her in the floor, and she has a med alert on, and she says, "Help! I've fallen and I can't get up." And so it became a catchphrase.
I remember that commercial.
Yeah, there's the stranded turtle.
That would be me.
I call Brady. He gets into the stranded turtle mode, but he's on his belly. But he can't know. He's just like, I can't get any traction until this last weekend. So he may not be as.
Whitney, did you know that? He started crawling.
Yeah.
Did you hear
That's
that?
great.
I know.
Crawled
right?
on, I guess,
That's fast.
Sunday, I think it was, and got a tooth.
And got a tooth.
We can't say he has teeth yet because he only has one. And then there's the unlikely yoga positions, the chalk outline. I actually did the chalk outline one time out on Graffiti Lane. My friend Steve and I, we went out there and we laid in the road on Graffiti Lane and spray painted around like the chalk outline. So
Why
I've
am I
actually
not surprised?
done that one before. Well, it wasn't a lot to do when I was growing up, so you had to come up with our own entertainment. On television for tonight, Shifting Gears on ABC. It's a series premiere. Celebrity Jeopardy, the season 3 premiere is on ABC. Fox has the season 3 premiere of something called Special Forces, the World's Toughest Test. And CBS has the season 2 premiere of Raid the Cage. 2 teams of best friends face off to grab prizes from the cage before time runs out. Whitney, I meant to ask you earlier, anything new? Are you on planning mode for 2025 or anything you need to share about your work before we go?
Yeah, we are in planning mode for sure. And we are planning it's kind of worked out with them being a winter storm. We're planning a disaster preparedness summit with the our emergency management, health department, some local community folks, and that'll be in March. Okay. And we're planning that, so be looking for information. And the other thing I will say is that typically, if the extension office is closed for winter weather, call us and make sure that evening programs and things that are going on at the office are not going on. So please call before you come out, because we do have some evening programs coming up, and if we have bad weather, they're maybe going to get canceled, just depending on if the parking lots and the weather and the travel is okay or not.
Today's highlight in history, this date in 1964, President Lyndon B. Johnson in his State of the Union address declared an unconditional war on poverty in America. Birthdays today, Shirley Bassey, however you want to say it. She sang Goldfinger in the James Bond movie. She's 88 today. Gospel country singer Christy Lane is 85. Gabby Hoffman is 43. And Cynthia Erivo, Elphaba, is 38 today. Gone but not forgotten. Soupy Sales in 1926. Sandra Van Oker in 1928. Charles Osgood in 1933. Elvis Aaron Presley in 1935. And David Bowie in 1947. Chart toppers for today from 1956. This is Nelson Riddle and Lisbon Antigua. If you've heard that much, you've pretty much heard it all because it's an instrumental. So, no lyrics to share with you. There are lyrics from 1965 with the Beatles. Number 1 with I Feel Fine.
Baby's good to me, you know she's happy
All right, let's move forward to
'Cause I'm right here.
1974. The Steve Miller Band and the Joker.
Great album.
I'm a grinner, I'm a lover, and I'm a sinner. I play my music in the sun.
Yeah, it's one of the greatest classic rock albums of all time. I think it's in many people's collections. Number one this day, 1983, Don Henley away from the rest of the Eagles with Dirty Laundry. I never really understood kick them when they're up, kick them when they're down. But that's what the song says.
Well, thanks to this weather, we don't have a lot of dirty laundry.
No, it's easy to keep caught up when there's nothing else to do. Number one in 1992, Mariah Carey and Can't Let Go.
You mean she sang More Than Just Christmas?
What was that, Whitney?
I said she's
What was it, Whitney?
she's singing More Than Just Christmas.
Oh yeah, she believe it or not, there will eventually though. We have people who don't know that Bing Crosby did anything other than White Christmas, so when they hear it, they're surprised. At some point in time in the future, because of that one Christmas song, when they hear something else, they'll go, "She sang other stuff?"
Yep.
Yes. She and Johnny Mathis and Nat King Cole. Shaggy. It wasn't me. Number one in 2001. So, 24 years ago today. Wow.
Goodness.
Let's go to 2019. No, 2010. I don't know if we're allowed to play much Jay-Z, because I don't think Alicia Keys went to any of the Diddy parties, so it's okay if we play her music. And 2019, Halsey, Without Me, number one. Whitney, stay safe.
We'll try
So
to.
you're going to get more snow later in the week, but probably not as much as our neighbors to the south. So tell Kyle to hang in there.
Yes. That's what I
We're
was
going to try.
thinking.
MB's Pearl of Wisdom for today says, remember that children, marriages, and flower gardens reflect the kind of care they get. Remember that children, marriages, and flower gardens reflect the kind of care they get. MB's Pearl of Wisdom for today. Remember, God loves you, and I do too. If you don't know Jesus, let me know, and I'll introduce you. Look forward to seeing you back here tomorrow for another edition of our show. For Whitney Carmen, for Beach, I'm MB, and now you're in the know.
The Twin Lakes Best Mix is WKHG, Litchfield. The Twin Lakes Best Mix, K105.